Unit 5 is looking at steps 4 to 10 in Barnwell's procedures in translation. And one thing I just want to remind you, in steps 1 to 3, we looked at basically making the first draft after doing exegesis and then adding supplement materials. But just to remind you, when you do the first draft, you have to use two versions of the Bible, if at all possible. A more literal version, which will be your base text, where it's as close to the original language of the author, and then looking at a more meaningful translation, a meaning-based translation, as a model, which will show you how you can re-express the meaning in your national language or in English. So the base text would be something like the NIV, and the model text would be the Good News Bible. So you need to look at two of these translations as your source texts, so that you don't just follow word for word when you translate, but think about the meaning and how to re-express it in your language. Once you've done your draft and you're happy with it and all the supplemental materials, then the real work starts, because now you need to have a team check. And you will never just be a translator on your own. We need to have a team of translators, and the ideal number is 3. So in your team check, you will have the 3 of you sitting together and looking at the first draft done by one of the team members. Now, the first draft, obviously, the better it's done and the more the effort that has gone into it, less work will be required by the team. But the team need to review the work done, look at the source texts with the translator, and make sure that it's accurate, natural, and clear, and also that the dialect that they've used or the language that they've used is acceptable to all 3. So there needs to be consensus as to the quality of that translation. Barnwell doesn't add this, but often after the team check, there's actually what we call an exegetical check. Or a translation advisor's check. So somebody who's slightly more experienced than the translation team themselves will come and look over the shoulders of the team, doing an exegetical check with the team, giving them some ways to improve their translation, and also recheck it for accuracy, naturalness, and clarity. So those are the kind of checks that the team will do, and it will be followed by an exegete, or a translation advisor will come and make sure that the translation is very well done. And in preparation for a community check, which is the 5th step. So 4th step is team checking. Then the 5th step is the community check, testing with the wider community, because your translation is not just for yourselves and the team. Of course, it's for the whole community. And within this community check, we often have a trained team of reviewers who will be checking the translation from different denominational perspectives. And then after the team check, you will, and the review check, it will go out for field testing to be tested in the field to make sure that people in the wider community can understand the translation clearly. And in this field check, often you do short questions and answers on the text to try and see if they have understood what the translation means. Once the translation has been checked by the team, the community, and the reviewers, as well as the exegete, it is then now getting prepared for a consultant check, which is the 6th and 7th steps. So the 6th step is to make a good back translation. The best back translation for myself as a consultant has always been the interlinear that is produced by Paratext. So that gives you the most accurate rendering of word for word or phrase by phrase what the translators have said. It is transferred from their language back into English so that you can see the kind of expressions they've used, the idioms they've used, etc. So the preparation of a back translation is very important. And then the consultant will come and check the translation with the team. So the translation at that stage needs to be well entered into the computer with all the punctuation and figures of, speech markers, etc., into the text. And then the consultant will check the text and the accuracy of the text and give advice how it can be improved. And then after that, the team will sit together and review the comments of the consultant, and then take it back to the team of reviewers, sometimes even the community, for further testing. And then step number 9 will be the final editing and consistency checking, what we call manuscript examinations, getting it ready for publication. And then after that has been done, there will be a final reading by the community, a proofreading of the text to make sure it's all in good order before it is published.